Hi everybody, it's Anne with Art on the Creek. It is casual day in the studio today, but I am making Christmas cards and I wanted to show you a fun new technique. Don't know how new it is, but new to me anyway. One thing I've never touched on in Colorado is how much we like to ski, and I come from a fairly long line of skiers in our family, although I haven't skied in many, many years. But skiing, Colorado, they go hand in hand, and I thought what a fun way to take up on that theme and make some Christmas cards. Are you ready? Well, this one that I made is still drying, but you can see where we're headed with these today. I love skiing. I've always loved skiing, and in Colorado, that's all we call it is skiing. If you're going downhill skiing, if you're going cross-country skiing, we do say cross-country skiing, and then water skiing is water skiing. But skiing, that's what we're talking about. At any rate, I thought that what I would do, I have this really old songbook from my childhood. So yeah, it's really old. And this is actually from the song Bicycle Built for Two. But I tore this music up because I just love the way that musical notes look. And when you paint on top of it, it doesn't really matter what the song is. So this one here, I put on some clear gesso. Now, gesso is not the same as watercolor ground. In fact, if you want to see a really good comparison on them and how they work with watercolor, Lindsay Weirich has an excellent review up, comparison video about those two things, and I will put a link to that in the description. But I wanted to try it myself, so this is what I came up with. This is clear gesso on here. I didn't have any clear watercolor ground. My watercolor ground is opaque. So this is just one brand of clear gesso, and as you can see, it does offer a texture, which watercolor, like most things, you do need a tooth for it to grab onto. So the only thing is this kind of seals what you're working on. It doesn't give it the absorbency that you would need to make watercolor techniques work. But you can paint on it, so it will work for this. So clear gesso, ideally you want clear watercolor ground. The one I have is buff titanium, so I didn't want to make it opaque because then you wouldn't be able to see the sheet music. So this is what I had that was clear. So the first thing you do is you treat your paper that you're going to glue on with the watercolor ground or gesso, and then you just glue it on. And for mine, I just use a good old glue stick. I just put it all on the back and then press it down like as if it were a sticker. And then I just kind of freehanded some skis. Now, I come from the ancient era of skiing, and I don't even know if this is a thing anymore, but if you fall when you're skiing, you would put your skis up in the snow like this and cross them. And that meant caution, beware, skier down. Kind of like when you're water skiing and the people on your boat put a flag up if you've fallen down. This was the universal symbol to go slowly because someone fell. I don't even think they do that anymore, but the ski runs are a much different animal than when I was up there skiing. In fact, the lifts that I learned how to ski on was a Palma lift and a T-bar, and I don't even think they have those anymore. So yeah, I come from the ancient world of skiing, but at any rate, these make such a cute little card. And I put a little bit of abstract holly, kind of a decoration on there, lots of splatter. So let's get to it. Let's have a lot of fun with these. The cards that I'm using are these Funto blank watercolor cards. They're just affordable. I ended up finding a 2-pack of these on Amazon. It was a total of 50 cards, 5x7, and I like the rounded edges on them. They're just cellulose paper or wood pulp paper. They're not 100% cotton, but they're so easy to work with. So we're going to start with that, and then like I said, I've already treated the music and got it glued on there, and that glue stick just dries right away, which is another reason I like to do that. The brush that we're going to use today is a Princeton Neptune round number 4. You can see I've got splatter all over me from doing these projects. And I'm using my Sennelier paints. Now I am just going to go ahead and freehand this. I'm using a Payne's Gray for the skis. Let me zoom in a little bit here. There we go. I'll use a Payne's Gray for the skis, and you just want to start with that little curved tip and come down, and it does not have to be exact. You just want to try and do a straight line. Now, if you cannot do a straight line, go ahead and draw these in. Use a ruler. Now, the ski is going to be sitting in the snow, so I'm just kind of doing a jagged edge there. So here's the tip. It comes up, and then it's going to come down. And you want to make it about, what is that, 3/8 of an inch wide, depending on how big your sheet of music is. And then this Payne's Gray is a little bit opaque because I have some of that Daler rounding on my brush still, so it's fine. I'm putting all of the pigment on one side, like so, and then I'll rinse off my brush and blot it on a paper towel, and now I'll go ahead and spread that pigment just a little. I'm not spreading it all the way across because I want it to look a little unfinished. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with more of the Payne's Gray and come around and make the other ski. And again, you're just kind of eyeballing it. I'm going to turn this just a little, and I smudged, but that's not going to matter because we're going to end up making splatters on here. So for this part, you want to hold your brush kind of up and down just because you want to make sure and try and get a smooth edge, which I'm not doing very well here. Let me move this out of the way. I think I'm at an awkward angle. There we go. And we'll go ahead and put this one off of the page a little bit. And same thing, we're going to put the black on one side, Payne's Gray rather. You could also use burnt sienna, make them a wood tone, or put a little more pigment over here on this one back here. The thing that's so fun with these is that you don't have to worry about shading. You don't have to worry about making anything look exactly like the item you're trying to paint. It's just everyone will be able to tell that these are crossed skis. Make that curve a little more pronounced though. Okay, so those are the skis. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this blue, take a manganese or a cerulean blue, and we're just going to do some really rough kind of snow shadows. And it doesn't matter where they go, you're just popping them in there. And we'll do some splatter. Splatter is a great way to make things, to help you loosen up. Karen Rice is another wonderful artist who uses splatter a lot, and she always says that it helps her stop painting, and I understand that completely, because when you're trying to do something with a lot of detail, you end up futzing and fidgeting, and sometimes you just don't want to do that, and with these, I definitely don't want to do that. I was thinking of holly when I painted these, the greenery on here, but I wasn't really committing to any holly leaf shapes, so I'm just doing some random brush strokes, kind of with the idea that you would flare it out like a bow. So in watercolor, we always go light to dark. So we're going to go ahead and put on the light green first. It is phthalo green light. And then now I am going in with forest green. Snellier has a different name for things. This or a hooker's green would work really well here. And I'm intentionally trying to blend. Now I'm going to zoom in here so you can see how your paints will act so different on this, on the gesso. They don't really blend. They just kind of sit on top of each other, which actually leaves kind of a cool effect. So there's the greenery. And now we're going to go in with the red, and the red that I'm using is called bright red. So any kind of a warm red will work. I've got the paint fairly thick here. And I'm just doing little berries. You can put them wherever you like. I'm just kind of putting a little spray of them in the center and out into the green. And one thing I forgot to do, you want to, whenever you splatter, you want to make sure you have a lot of water on your brush. So let's go back and we'll splatter with some of that lighter green. And I'll add in the darker green as well. and also the red. And now what I want to do is go into the gold. I have this Fintex set of pearlescent watercolors that I really like to use. I'll zoom out there so you can see it a little bit better. They're pearlescent colors. I have reviewed these in my watercolor Christmas wish list video, my gift list video. I've got 3 of those up for the holidays, and this one I didn't really review it. I just talked about what a great set it is, and I really do like it. It re-wets really easily. As you can see here, it's already getting on the brush. I have not pre-sprayed these. So let's see what I did on the other one is I just put a little bit of gold in here to kind of mingle with the branches that are already in there, some gold on the berries. And then of course we're going to splatter with the gold. Now, the next thing that I want to do is the gold border. A little bit of a burst of water there. All right, so I'm all done with these Sennelier paints, so let me just move them out of the way. I'm working in a very limited space here today. I don't know why. Let me get into this same gold in the Fintex. And now you're going to want to hold your hand above this because it's still wet. Very carefully paint along the edge. Now, the beauty of this is it's great if you don't have a very straight line on the inside. Do you remember those decal edge photographs from the 40s and 50s? That's kind of what I was thinking of when I was doing this. So if you've got a shaky hand and you normally can't do a straight line like me, this is where you can shine. We're just going to go around this to give it a nice gold border. So let me just finish this around here, kind of going over some of those splatters. So there's the gold there, and I've got the gold splatter in. And now what I want to do for the snow is just to add some of this De La Rowney Bleed Proof White. This is my favorite brand. There's another one out there that, why can't I think of the name right now? P.H. Martin. Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. Also a good one. This one I just have used and fallen in love with. They really perform identically though. There's not a bit of difference between them. I just like this one. Now we're going to go ahead and splatter with the white. Get some snow on there. And there you go. We're going to call that done. Let's go ahead and sign it. Find a space that doesn't have that wet paint on it here. And I just put my first name and the year on there. And then whenever I make a card, I do like to do a little bit of extra on the back. And here I'm going to say that it's hand painted. By me. And then I also add Art on the Creek. And the year. So there you have it. There is a really fun way to do a very cute, quick, easy Christmas card. It's still quite wet, but that's a little taste of Colorado Christmas for you. I hope no matter where you guys are, if you are in a position to have a white Christmas, I hope it's one that's beautiful and doesn't keep you snowbound, and you can get all the bread and milk that you need from the grocery store. Talk to you guys later. Have fun sending those holiday greetings out. Bye-bye.